Welcome back here. We're here live from the Winfrey Hotel in Hoover, Alabama. It's SEC Media Day 2019. This segment will be brought to you by Fayetteville Glass, located on North College Avenue in Fayetteville. And we just keep on coming because it means more in the SEC. So we thought we'd have another special guest, the SEC Network's Dari Noka. Dari, welcome to OTH.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. This gold microphone. I wish your listeners could see this thing I'm speaking into. Seriously. I'm afraid of tarnishing it in some way, shape, or form with a little piece of slobber that might come out. I don't know, man. This thing's beautiful.
We all descend on the SEC this time of year, Dari. When you get to Hoover, Alabama, what does this week signify for you when it pertains to the SEC?
It means I'm not going to sleep a lot. No, I'm just kidding. It just means that, and it's not just this week. It's probably the 4 or 5 days leading into this week that I've been focused on basketball and baseball and everything else. I better brush up. That's what it means to me. Don't slip on football knowledge. Make sure I'm caught up. Make sure I remember who's back. Make sure I remember who left. Make sure I remember where expectations should be. On our network, what we do, football season's gone. Yes, we still pay a bit of attention, but we're dialed into basketball now. I was in Minnesota for the Final Four. We do baseball. I just was in Omaha a couple of weeks ago for the World Series. So there's a process to brush back up on football, and that's got to take place before I get here.
Dari, what are some of the storylines in this SEC 2019 season that you're going to really pay attention to?
Yeah.
From game 1 to game 12.
Yeah, I think it's. Is it really Alabama and Georgia? Like, who's next, right? Who can challenge? I think the quarterback play is going to be phenomenal and deep. It's a really deep league at the quarterback spot. Missouri intrigues me a lot. There's a lot of folks that are kind of picking them, not necessarily to win the East, but certainly be a factor. They've got 8 really winnable games to start the season. They're going to be, if they're sitting at 8-0, how high are they ranked? And then what happens when they play Georgia? Are we looking at a 2 teams in the playoff scenario again? It's almost become not the norm by any stretch, but it certainly doesn't surprise anybody when it happens. So, those I think are some of the storylines, but more than anything else, do we have playoff contenders in this league outside of Alabama and Georgia?
I'm of the belief, Texas A&M, if they can play up to the talent that they've recruited to C-Stat, this team has a chance, with Alabama coming to College Station this year to play a factor in the West. Where are you at with Texas A&M?
I think they're going to be better than they were. But I can't ignore the schedule. To have to play Bama, LSU, Auburn, Georgia, Clemson. I might have misspoke on Georgia, but yeah, it's a ridiculous schedule. That is in 3 of those 4 most challenging games on the road. Their final record may not be indicative of how good they are. What I'll be watching for A&M more really than anything is if we see the growth that we expect. And again, it may not be in wins and losses just because of the schedule in front of them. How do they play in those games? Do they come into 2020? Are we sitting in Atlanta at this thing next year, sitting here asking, are they a playoff contender? Because I think that's the trajectory A&M's on. I think that's a team that's 2 years away, not necessarily this year.
When looking at the Arkansas Razorbacks, a team that I cover on a daily basis, and you get to watch from afar, what is it that Coach Morris has to do?
Oh, hello. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. And Real quick, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors, as this would not be possible without you guys. That being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, they're located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and the one that we always talk about, KDK's Chicken. They're located down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy and get some of that love. And like they say on the building, it's not your mama's. We say it's the best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken. And we came in today, as we said, Demetrius and ourselves, representing On the Hill, this time last year we're at SEC Media Days in Hoover, Alabama. Should be attending SEC Media Days this year and down in Atlanta, but due to the COVID pandemic, all that was canceled. So what we said yesterday is we're going to go back from last year's Media Day and just play interviews that we were fortunate enough to attain, and we're going to let you hear our sit down with Dari Noka, SEC Network analyst throughout today's show. But we got a big show. But first, I want to bring on my guy, the man behind the scenes, Demetrius Johnson. What's up, D?
What's up, Pat?
I'm gonna start calling you DJ. That sound good?
Oh, you already know.
Big show today, as we're going to continue on with the Hall Guys segment, and we're going to be joined here momentarily by 2022 athlete in Arkansas offer out of Grayson, Georgia. Yeah, that high school we was at yesterday when we talked to Moo. Terrian Williams II. We're going to talk to the athlete about his offer and just where Arkansas sits. This guy has worked himself into the offer, and I think this is going to be one that we better keep our eye on. Then we're going to make our way down to Austin, Texas. Yep, burnt orange country where those Longhorns stay, but Arkansas is really fishing around for a 2021 defensive end named Landon Watson out of Hutto High School. We'll talk to L-Dub and see what's going on with he and the Razorbacks, and then we're going to get back down to Georgia because we like those Georgia Peaches. This time in the 2022 class with the best running back in the state in that 22 class, Damari Austin. He's out of College Park, Georgia. Woodward Academy, the big time running backs gonna come on and just talk about Coach Jimmy Smith, Sam Pittman, and where that recruiting is going. He's got 2 more years, but Arkansas, they will be in the mix, Demetrius, and it just goes to show with our lineup. We've been in Texas yesterday. We were in Georgia for multiple interviews. We're gonna be in Georgia again for multiple interviews and back up to Texas. We were in Michigan yesterday. It just goes to show just the national reach that this coaching staff under Coach Pittman and those guys are able to, get the Arkansas brand, get it in those kids' minds.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's, again, one of the factors in why this coaching staff is going to be successful here. They have no borders. A lot of people expect these guys to go get 12 to 15 players from Arkansas, but I think with the pedigree that these coaches bring to the University of Arkansas, we have the privilege of almost cherry picking to a sense, to where we can go into a state and you can say Sam Pittman's name and kids kind of raise their eyebrows as to who he is and what he can do, and then you throw Barry Odom, a former head coach at the University of Missouri. Guys know that name, and then you add in Kendall Browse. Those are 3 household names that I think every youngster in high school football has either heard of or is going to hear in the next 2 to 3 years.
Hey, let's get this thing going because we're excited to get ready. The bus is cleaned up, got gas, and good new tires on it. The Hall Guy segment's about to begin. Up next, Terrian Williams II. He's up. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins, and it's the Tuesday edition on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
I might have misspoke on Georgia, but yeah, you know what? It's a ridiculous schedule that is in 3 of those 4 most challenging games on the road. Their final record may not be indicative of how good they are. What I'll be watching for A&M more really than anything is if we see the growth that we expect. And again, it may not be in wins and losses just because of the schedule in front of them, but how do they play in those games? Do they come into 2020? I mean, are we sitting in Atlanta at this thing next year, sitting here asking, are they a playoff contender? Because I think that's the trajectory A&M's on. I think that's a team that's 2 years away, not necessarily this year.
When looking at the Arkansas Razorbacks, a team that I cover on a daily basis, and you get to watch from afar, what is it that Coach Morris has to do here in year 2?
Yeah.
For the fan base to have a belief for the future going forward.
Yeah. I think if Arkansas ends up with 6 wins and in a bowl game, they should be ecstatic. But it's just show that the offensive philosophy he has long believed in and preached and coached can work in Arkansas, can work against SEC defenses. It's not going to be humming at 100%. He still does not have enough of the guys that he needs in there. They don't have the experience in the offense yet. It's going to be a new quarterback for him. Although if it's Ben Hicks, it's not a new quarterback for him, right? But it's offensively, what do they look like? Can they move the football against the best defenses in the country? And defensively, does John Chavis have them at least playing at a respectable level to where if their offense isn't scoring 40 and 45 points a game, can they still win close football games? 6 wins would be, to me, a huge success for Arkansas.
Dory, it seems to me there's always a position that sticks out in the SEC, but we know this is a line of scrimmage league. Could you give me 2 or 3 offensive or defensive lines that really have surged ahead of maybe the pack of the other positions?
Yeah, I think Georgia's offensive line is probably the best. They may say that could be as good as any in the country. Quite frankly, I think that's one that we need to pay attention to, obviously. You know, you've got to assume Alabama's always going to have one of the top offensive lines in the country. Defensive lines, Auburn is, I think, the golden standard right now in this league. On the defensive line, I think Florida could be really, really good on the defensive line. Texas A&M as well as another
Sports
team.
Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. It's our Tuesday edition, and Sam Pittman and his staff are really making that 22 class a major priority. And one of those guys that could really come and make a difference, they feel, is the new guy coming up, 2022 athlete, because I call him athlete because he can do everything, and he's from the same high school we were at yesterday, Grayson High School. Terrion Williams II. T-Dub, welcome to OTH.
Hey, how you doing? Glad to be here.
Doing this real well. Terrion, you and I spoke several months ago, and you were one of those 22 recruits that just worked himself into a lot of scholarships, big-time Power 5 scholarship. Arkansas just recently entered the party and put their hat in the ring by offering you prior to the weekend. Talk about that offer and what that means to you, because Arkansas is one of those schools that you've really had your eye on for quite some time.
Yes, sir. It was just good to know that I finally got it. It's one of those offers that, you work on, one of those schools that you already have an eye on, that even when you're younger, you're like, those are one of the schools that I want to offer me. And just for Coach Carter to contact me and, see the ability that he sees I can be out there with them to help them win that championship that they're trying to get at and be one of those dogs on his defensive back. It's just great to even have that feeling.
Now talk about, the other schools, Terrion, that are showing you a lot of high priority outside of Arkansas.
Yes, I have a lot of schools that show me high priority, like Mississippi State, Kansas State, Boston College, Iowa State, LSU, Pitt, Kentucky, Tennessee. It's many more. One thing I'm really trying to focus on is not really even location or even just the football aspect, but also the academic aspect and the 4 years, going there for 4 years and getting 40 years out of it. I know football is always not going to last forever, so I have to get something out of it too.
When you looked at your sophomore film, Terrion, following that year, what was it that you really felt good about, T, and what were some of the things you've been in the lab working on so that this junior year could be even better than what it was your sophomore season?
Defensively, I'm working on my man-to-man technique. We ran a lot of zone when I was at Parkview High School. So this year at Grayson, we do have a lot more man. So I'm working on my man technique defensively. Offensively, I'm working on my cuts, getting out of break fast, those types of things. Just really like separation. I'm really trying to work on that separation piece.
Being the athlete that you are, how many schools at the Power 5 level have talked to you about playing, having an impact on both sides of the football?
A lot of schools have talked about me playing on offense and defense, or even defense and special teams. It's just good to know that the ability that God gave me to be able to play different positions and bring different things to a college team is great.
Now, when you look at Arkansas, Sam Carter was initially your lead recruiter and the position coach that offered you. How big is that, Terrion, when it's the position coach that gives you the offer, and it's the same guy that over the next 2 years you'll be able to build that relationship, and if you possibly choose Arkansas, he's going to be the guy that's really going to be majorly involved in the development process?
Right. Well, it's big even when even like a head coach, like your specific position coach, reaches out to you and wants you to join them, and that whole process. It's just big to know that the same guy that in a couple of years will coach me and coach me hard is the same guy that reached out to me and sees the potential in me.
Now, Georgia high school football, how important is that, and how much does that help you with the developmental process? You get a chance to play a lot of Power 5 competition each and every Friday night, but talk about, just there at Grayson, the competition level that you face each and every day, even in practice, Jerry.
Oh yeah, Georgia football is nothing to take lightly. It's very serious. Even in practice, it's competition every day. We have D1, DBs all over across the board, D1 receivers, quarterback, offensive line, everywhere. So we compete every day. We talk our mess out there, but we make each other better every day. Just to know those are the same guys that in a couple of years we're going to play on Saturdays too. So, we make each other better.
Taryn, who are the athletes that you like to pay attention to either at the collegiate or NFL level, and maybe take parts of what they do and implement to your game on the weekends?
I know on the defensive side, Stingley, I'm serious. Even like the way he can move from different positions, he's very versatile. And then even Isaiah Simmons, I know he's gone now, but the way he was able to move from this position, he went from free to nickel to corner sometimes, and for him to be the way he developed throughout college was just amazing.
Coach Sam Pittman was a former offensive line coach there at the University of Georgia. If you had a chance to be around Coach Pittman at maybe some of the elite camps that they had over the summer at UGA, what was your take on what you were able to witness in Coach Pittman?
He's a people person. He's one of those coaches that you want to be around, that you want the type that you want to coach you. Just not like any other coach that it's just there just to coach you. He wants to see you succeed, whether it's football or in life. He's one of those people that you want to be around.
Now, let's have a little fun. Want everybody to know we're talking with Terrian Williams, the second out of Grayson, Georgia, Grayson High School. The 2022 athlete was just recently offered here within the last 5 days by the University of Arkansas and defensive back coach Sam Carter. But, man, I'm showing up at Grayson. I got my popcorn and my soda pop. Ball's kicked off. What type of football player am I going to watch for 4 quarters in Terrian Williams the second?
Man, everybody tells me every time whether if I'm on offense or special teams, if I'm getting the ball, I make something happen. Even if it's a small space, I just make something happen. I know even some of the guys, they be like, "TJ, how you do that, man?" And when I get the ball, I just go. I couldn't even tell you. And then defensively, I just have fun out there. I'm just it's so natural now. Youth ball, it was like we were learning. Now it's just like natural. We're learning small things, but it's all natural, having fun out there. So you're going to see a kid that's just having fun balling, and you're going to be like, wow.
Now, you and me riding around the city there in Grayson. We're in the vehicle. First 5 songs on the playlist, T. What are they?
My favorite artist is A Boogie. So I always start off No Promises by A Boogie. I'm going to play some Lil Baby too this year. I'm going to play Low Down by Lil Baby and All In. And I'm going to have to put some Young Boy and Dub Baby in there. Just get excited, get ready, get the mind right. And I always end with one gospel song. What's
the pregame meal the night before the game for Terrian Williams the second? What is that?
It depends. It depends. Most of the time, it might be collard greens, some rice, and some roast. Something like that. My mom makes some good roast. So most of the time, pregame meal and pregame before the game, it's a roast.
Hey, do you eat some that vinegar on those collard greens?
Oh, yes, sir. Collard so crazy.
I'm definitely have to come pregame meal. You got what I need. Now, I want to thank you for taking time out, T. Will. And the last question, I'll make a statement if you would. Finish it out for me. When football is done with, for Terrian Williams II of Grayson, Georgia, Grayson High School, he's played Power 5 football and went on and realized his dream of playing at the next level, which is the NFL. That airs out the ball, everything's put in the locker. What's life like after football for Terrian Williams II?
After life, I'm up in the air with 2 different directions. I'm either going to be going to the engineering field. College, I'm going into the engineering field. So I don't know if I want to take my my talents over there to the engineering field and do something over there, or if I want to go and teach a type of engineering business in school, and then end up coaching and giving back, to the community, giving back everything, all the knowledge I know, and see the kids grow up. Because I know a lot of people say, a lot of coaches say, it's just great to see the kids grow up and see them take their talent. So, I'm up in there whether if I'm going to just go straight to the engineering field, if I'm going to go teach and coach at the same time.
Well, my man, I know, with your work ethic and you and I have had multiple conversations. Whatever you choose, T-Dub, you're going to have a lot of success, my man. And, hey, this can't be the last time. Our show is your show. Our line is your line. And during the season, hey, we got Moo Moo coming on. How about we get some T-Dub updates there at Graceland High School as well throughout the season? You down?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, T-Will, congratulations, and thanks for taking time out today on OTH.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
That was Taryn Williams, the second out of Grayson High School, the athlete there at Grayson, Georgia. Demetrius, I'm telling you, he got a little bit of Joe Adams, just a lot of playmaking ability, and he's one of those guys I watched on defensively or offensively.
He's definitely a guy that can come in and make an impact, and I think he was right with the way he described himself. Every time he got the ball, he was able to do something electrifying, whether it was on offense or defense.
Well, we got to get on down and get some more gas because we got to get all the way to Austin, Texas, where there's a defensive end prospect that Coach Derek LeBlanc, Barry Odom, and Sam Pittman would love to have him make Fayetteville his home. It's Landon Watson. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a sec.
I think that's absolutely. It's the present and it's probably the future. You can only play one, right? So, I was just glad to see when Tommy Stevens goes to Mississippi State from Penn State that Keaton Thompson didn't find his way on the transfer portal. And Keaton is still going to get to play. Arkansas is interesting because it's got Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel. It's got two transfer quarterbacks that will fight it out for that job. And I tend to believe it'd probably be Ben Hicks, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Yeah, that's going to be that's it. I've always wondered, and I've talked to some of the coaches about it. How do you coach these kids now? Really?
Absolutely.
So often they're afraid of competition, or they're so intimidated and looking over their shoulder that at who's coming and challenging me. I don't think that's a healthy thing for anybody. It's just the situation that we're in. But no, the transfer and maybe on the whole, transfer quarterbacks will benefit the SEC because who doesn't want to play in this league? But no, I think Arkansas is certainly a situation that's interesting, and I think Mississippi State is as well.
150 years collegiate football celebrating this upcoming season. Growing up, either being through the SEC network or as a kid. You went to OU.
Yep.
I know you grew up a Boomer Sooner.
Yep.
What are some of the big-time college football games, and it could be in any conference, that you remember, Dari, heading into year 150?
Yeah, you mentioned growing up in Oklahoma. Just the OU Nebraska games in the 80s, and a spot in the Orange Bowl was on the line virtually every single time.
Right.
We're a year and a half removed from the best game I've ever seen in person, which was Oklahoma Georgia. I was there for work for the SEC Network, really to cover Georgia, but to get to watch my alma mater play in a game. It was a playoff game, a semifinal at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, of all places, and to be a game that goes into overtime, and you had this incredible roller coaster of Oklahoma has a 17-point lead, and Georgia battles back, and Oklahoma has a scoop and score, and you think that's the end of it, and put them up by 10, and Georgia comes back again. A blocked field goal in overtime before Sony Michel runs it in like that. That was by far the best football game I've ever seen in person. I think because it was at that Rose Bowl, it was a playoff game. I think that was, it was only a year and a half ago. I think it was one of the greatest college football games probably of all time. But then you can't forget the great Clemson-Alabama game, not of last year, but of years of the two other times they played for a national championship, or phenomenal football games. Alabama, Georgia, and Tua, a freshman on
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. And before we get on to our next featured guest, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors, the people that make this thing possible. With that being said, Lindsay & Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. That's Locomotion. They're located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and the one that we always talk about, KDK's Chicken. They're down at 989 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith, Kathy. Get a plate of that love. Like it says on the building, it's not your mama's. We say they got the best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. And now on to our featured guest, Coach Derek LeBlanc and that defensive staff under Barry Odom are looking to make an impact on the defensive lines because they say that's where it just means more in the SEC. And they made their way to Austin, Texas, Hutto High School, where they made an offer in, and he's a high priority. The big fella, Landon Watson. Landon, welcome to OTH.
Thank you for having me. It's a blessing.
Landon, let's get off into your recruiting. You've been a top priority for going on 2 years now. I mean, it's been kind of hectic for you. Talk about the recruiting process and where the relationship that you're starting to build with the University of Arkansas and that defensive staff.
Well, first, I want to thank God for putting me in this position to be recruited by so many great schools. The recruiting process is definitely a grueling process, and it's definitely a tough one, but I've been having a pretty good relationship with Arkansas. I got the offer back whenever we were in school, and I've been building a relationship with them as well. They gave me an offer to play tight end and defense. So I've been building a relationship with the tight end coach and a defensive coach at the same time.
When you look at that, Landon, how many other schools that are showing you or making you a high priority in the recruiting process heading into your senior year are recruiting you for both sides of the football? And if so, is that something that you're really wanting that particular university to give you the opportunity to do, is play both sides to see which one's going to fit at the Power 5 level?
Well, actually, they gave me the offer for Austin because of my athletic ability, seeing what I put up in my junior film, and just they didn't know whether I wanted to play tight end or if I wanted to play defense. They just wanted me to be a Razorback. But in college football, I want to play defense. I want to play defense as well.
Now, when you looked at your junior year, and you sat down with that defensive staff there at Hutto, Landon, what was some of the things that you feel real good about, and then what were some of the things you've been in the lab working on so that this senior year can be as big time as you want it to be?
Well, some of the things that I'm confident about is my ability to play the run game, stop the run, and just be athletic and be able to make plays. The things I've been in the lab sharpening up on, knowing that I'm gonna have a bigger role this year. I've been working on all types of stuff like my pass rush, me dropping into coverages, me even having to go man up with a running back, and just working on a lot of stuff and working on being able to get fluid in the hips and being able to move in space, and just a lot of athletic ability stuff that's going to help me put on a show this senior year.
Now, you have a lot of options outside of Arkansas. Who are you hearing from the most? And, Landon, is it going to be a situation that you want to sign early? I know with the COVID pandemic, kind of messing up a lot of, visits that you prospective seniors would have taken this summer. How is that? Do you want to wait until February and possibly get those visits in? And if so, could Arkansas possibly be one of those 5 officials that if you get a chance to take them, they'll be one?
Yes. Well, I definitely. I'm not for sure about if I'm going to sign early or not. I definitely want to go visit the school before I choose a school. Definitely, it's kind of hard to do that with the pandemic. So, just trying to play it day by day and wait. And yeah, Arkansas would definitely be a school that I take membership to.
Any in-state pressure? I mean, you're there right there in the Longhorns' backyard. I mean, you told me a very interesting story, but outside of Texas, are you feeling pressure from the A&Ms, Baylor's, TCU's, those in-state Texas Techs to possibly stay in-state?
Yes, I have a really good relationship with the TCU coaching staff, Coach Patterson, Coach Sharp, and just those guys. I've been building a great relationship with them ever since my freshman year, that was an early offer that I got going into my sophomore year. Got that offer, and I've just been having a great relationship with them, with the coaches, and my family has a great relationship with them as well. So it's definitely hard to get that up, knowing that you have a school that wants you as much as anybody else does in your home state.
Landon, now you recently, were committed to Virginia Tech, reopened your recruitment, and I think that the big thing was distance from home and your family being able to attend the ball games. Arkansas being, not as far for Virginia Tech or some of your other possible schools, was distance, a big factor? Is that going to be, a major factor in your decision?
No, I wasn't committed to Virginia Tech. I was committed to LSU my sophomore year.
Right.
Well, not my sophomore year, my junior year. And then I decommitted in December. But I really don't think distance is going to be a big factor. I mean, it is a big thing, kind of, for me, knowing that my parents won't be able to make some home games if I go far, and knowing that they will be able to make home games at least if I do go out of state, but don't go somewhere super far. So I mean, the distance kind of plays a factor in it, but at the same time it doesn't, because my family always makes it right.
Now, who are some NFL or collegiate players that you like to keep an eye on, Landon?
Say again?
Who are some of the collegiate or NFL players that you like to watch personally, and take what they do and add to your game?
Well, I definitely look up to Von Miller a lot, because the way he plays the game is so much familiar to mine, and just his athletic ability to be able to pass rush, move in space, and just I think it matches up with mine as well. And I also watch guys like Rashawn Gary and see how they train, and see what type of stuff that they work on. I also train with BT Jordan, who is also Rashawn Gary's trainer, work on pass rush and stuff like that. So I definitely look up to those guys to try to mimic their game and add on tools to my toolbox for every season.
I show up to Hutto High School there in Austin, Texas, Landon. For 4 quarters, I got popcorn and a Coca-Cola. Balls kicked off. What type of football player am I going to watch in Landon Watson?
You're going to see a player that's all over the field, no matter if it's on offense, defense, special teams. You're going to see somebody that's all over the field the entire game. You're going to probably hear my name called on the intercom a lot. So I advise you to kick back and enjoy the show, because I definitely love playing on the show. It makes me play better too.
Awesome. We're talking with Landon Watson, the big-time 2021 major defensive prospect for Coach Derek LeBlanc, Barry Odom, and head coach Sam Pittman out of Austin, Texas, Hutto High School. Now, we're going to have a little fun, my main man. I hope you got that thing ready. We riding around Austin on 6th Street. Let's ride down 6th Street, you and me, Landon.
Yes, sir.
First 5 songs on the playlist, L-Dub. What are they?
First 5 songs in the playlist. Let's see. We definitely got to play some Dirk here, so I gotta play Outro by Little Dirk.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm a big Youngboy fan, so we definitely got to play a Youngboy song. I'll play Throw On Win Your Love by Youngboy. Definitely got to throw on some Little Baby. So definitely play All In or We Paid, which everybody possibly pretty much heard. So that's that. That's that. I'm a big JD Lenny fan as well, so I'll definitely throw on a couple songs by him. And then also another person that I listen to a lot is Lil CJ Casino out of Dallas. So yeah, definitely gotta roll with me. You gotta listen to some V's. So it's gonna be fun.
I'm riding up 6th Street and I'm turning my L-Dub, but I feel you. Now, Arkansas's Pit Crew 21. The new class has started this little group chat, Landon, and you're part of that. You have a really good relationship with quarterback commit Lucas Coley of San Antonio. Talk about how much pressure those guys have put on you to maybe join the Pit Crew 21, and does that play a factor when you have different classes from schools trying to get you to come to their school? How much of a factor will that be, or you just have a lot of fun with it?
Well, it's definitely exciting knowing that you also have players that really want to play with you. So that definitely stands out to me, and it stands out to me as well whenever the Arkansas coaches are talking to the other recruits and telling them to recruit me as well. So it makes me become more priority, and just hearing those guys talk every day, seeing what we could become, seeing all the stuff that we are capable of doing with this big class, and just it makes me think. It makes me think. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, Landon, thanks for taking time out, and we're going to make one last statement, and if you would, finish it out for me. When football is done with, for Landon Watson of Austin, Texas, Hutto High School, he's went on and played Power 5 football and realized the dream of playing in the NFL. The air's out the ball, helmet, pads, cleats are all put up in the locker. What's life like after football for Landon Watson of Austin, Texas, Hutto High School?
Life for Landon Watson is going to be me having a wife and having kids and being a great father, being a great husband, being a great man. And I definitely want to be an ESPN analyst. So I definitely want to stay around football whenever football is done for me because that'll keep me happy. So I definitely look forward to majoring in communication and sports broadcasting so I can be able to do that when I'm older.
Man,
it definitely interests me.
Now, you know, here at OTH, Landon, we're always looking for some interns, but I mean, I ain't tampering. Not one bit am I tampering. But hey, my man, thanks for taking time out. This won't be the last time. As I've said before, our show is your show, our line is your line. And when we get into the football season, L-Dub, let's have some Landon Watson updates. You down with that?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Landon, thanks for taking the time. Good luck on your senior year, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That was 2021 defensive end prospect, major defensive prospect for Coach Derek LeBlanc and that defense staff, Barry Odom and head coach Sam Pittman out of Austin, Texas, Hutto High School. Demetrius, what'd you see, man? I just continue to see those types of players that we've been watching on the other sideline playing against Arkansas.
To me, just a playmaker, just a guy that can really make plays. He's causing forced fumbles, scooping scores. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything. And to me, he can be that Isaiah Jacobs, a guy that can kind of go play any position at that defensive end, go play linebacker, be able to go cover some of the things that he was describing that he was working on. I can really see him developing, especially under guys like Barry Odom and Coach LeBlanc. And
you can just tell with the way they're aggressively recruiting there here in Fayetteville, Coach Pittman and that staff, the kids they're really starting to gain energy by the vision and the way that Coach Pittman and staff want to take this Arkansas program. And like I said, he said recruit on steroids, you have to have speed or you're chasing speed. The one thing that I know about Landon is the speed in which he was running sideline to sideline. That really stood out. But we're going to continue on. We got to gas up, and we got to get back down to this Peach State because it's the biggest one in the 22 class. The top running back, Damari Austin out of College Park, Georgia, Woodward Academy. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
A lot of people are obviously ready for him to be ousted at Auburn. Outside of that, again, we got so many second-year guys that I don't really see. I don't really see much on the hot list. Derek Mason just got an extension at Vanderbilt. I think they're going to be a bowl team this year, anyways. If Kentucky takes a step back, that's fine. They won 10 games last year under Mark Stoops. Matt Luke hired 2 head coaches as assistants with Rich Rod and Mike McIntyre. I think that was a great yet bold move from him. But it shows that he's not somebody that's insecure. I think that he'll be given another opportunity. They just got back to bowl eligibility. Realistically, I don't know that, this is first time in 13 years that all the coaches that were here last year are here again. I would expect the same next year, too, outside potentially of Auburn and Gus Malzahn.
Well, as always, Dari, love having your information. Hey, thanks for taking time out over here and enjoy the rest of the week.
Good to talk with you. You too. Thank you.
That was Dari Noka of the SEC Network. We're going to step away. We got much, much more with Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Let's get it.
Welcome back. It's our Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our Hawkeyes edition as we made it all the way to the Peach State. And when we got there, Sam Pittman and the staff, they told us they were trying to put the brand out. And this guy could really make a difference in that 2021 class. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on out of College Park, Georgia, Woodward Academy, Damari Austin. DA, welcome to OTH.
What's up?
How you doing, my man? Recruiting for you just seems to get even more and more hectic. Arkansas being a school that's got high interest in you. They've offered. Damari, talk about that relationship with the University of Arkansas and how that's starting to build.
So first, I'd like to shout out Coach Jimmy.
Me and Coach Jimmy, we've been had a relationship. We've been talking ever since he was a high school coach. You know, winning championships with Cedar Grove. Um, he went to Georgia State. He offered me. Then after he left Georgia State, he went to Arkansas. He had no time, and he extended that offer out to me. They came up to the school a few months ago before, like, you know, all this quarantine stuff and Corona stuff started happening. So they came up to the school. I got a chance to talk with Coach Pittman and Coach Smith, and we didn't really chop it up as much, but you know, because I had to get to class and stuff. But they were cool people. Basically telling me I need to get up there soon, whenever I can, and Corona ruined that. I was probably gonna visit around like I was probably gonna visit my spring break or around like April. So I got a close relationship with Coach Pittman and Coach Smith.
I mean, how big is that, you know, that when Coach Pittman took the head coaching job, he brings Coach Jimmy Smith in, that he, you know, Coach Pittman and the running back coach were at your school almost instantly to make you a high priority in that 22 class. I mean, you know, talk about that, you know, when coaches, head coaches and your position coach are really the two guys that make that type of impact, DeMar.
So that's big right there. When the head man is looking at you. You know, when the head man is there and want to see you, that's huge. Like, they're really recruiting you hard and they really need you. So that's why I say I'll consider Arkansas as a top school as my recruiting process goes on.
When you talk about your recruiting process, who are some of the other schools, DeMar, that are making you a high priority heading into your junior season?
Right now, I'll probably say Michigan, Georgia Tech, Florida, Florida State, Alabama, Oregon, Louisville, and Utah. That's all the schools I can think of right now.
Now, being the top running back there in the state of Georgia in that junior class, DeMar, each and every week, I mean, you have a bullseye on your chest. Let's just call it like we see it. I mean, how do you handle that? You know, that each and every Friday, being a guy that's gonna, you know, be one that those 11 guys want to stop number 6.
Yeah. So I come into the game. I'm humble, but I'm ready to play. Like, I don't think nobody can stop me, and that's just my mentality. Once I step on that field, there's no going back. So, you know, why not turn up? So that's just my mentality when I step on the field. I already know, like, when I step on the field, they whole defense coming for me. They've been watching film on me, and I know, and I'm just ready for whatever.
Now, when you you look at collegiate running backs or NFL running backs, DA, who are some of the guys that you pay attention to?
The running backs I really studied in college last year was probably Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift.
You can't go wrong with those guys, I'm telling you. Any in-state pressure, being the top running back in that state there in Georgia, I mean, how are you handling that pressure? Because it has to be sometimes, you know, overwhelming. DA, how do you and the Austin family deal with it?
So, you know, we don't really care about none of that. Everything's between me and my family. Whatever decision I make, just know it's the best decision for me and my family and my life after football. And, like, dealing with the in-state pressure, schools wanting me to stay in state or whatever. I mean, it's a good deal, but also I'm looking for the opportunity to play. Like, I'm looking for the opportunity to where I can get a good life after football, or what if football don't work out. Like, I'm trying to make my own business, be an entrepreneur or whatever. And yeah, that's how I handle it.
DeMar, what did you feel good about after your sophomore year, and what have you been working on in the lab so that the junior season can be even better than it was your sophomore year, with knowing that you're gonna be an even more marked man?
So after my sophomore year, I mean, you know, as I say, I'm always humble or whatever. But I feel like I had a good sophomore year. Definitely some things I need to work on. Definitely some goals I need to meet and some expectations. And I've been working on, like, getting stronger, getting faster, getting bigger. Um, and yeah, that's about it.
Now, I show up there in College Park, Georgia at Woodward Academy. I got my popcorn and I got a Sprite. Ball's kicked off. For 4 quarters, what type of football player am I going to watch in number 6, Damari Alston?
So if you come to my game, you should be expecting a ball game. Every game, I'm trying to ball out, no matter who they are, because you never know who's watching.
Right.
So I'm balling out. The type of player I am and the type of plays I think you're gonna expect is some elusive plays and some big collisions, like me running over somebody, because I think I'm a good player to break tackles or whatever and make a person miss. And my touchdowns, it won't just be the boring touchdown. I'm gonna have it turned up. I'm gonna have it turned up after I score, a little cool celebration or whatever. So yeah, you should expect good energy out of me if you come see me. But
talking with Damari Alston, he's a 2022 running back major priority for Coach Jimmy Smith there at the University of Arkansas, Kendall Brawls, and Coach Sam Pittman, the head coach of the University of Arkansas Razorbacks out of College Park, Georgia, Woodward Academy. Let's have a little fun, my man. You got that list ready? Because we riding around. Hey, we riding around CP. Me and you, my man. First 5 songs on the playlist. Top 2.
I'll probably say. So I'm rocking with Lil Baby right now. Yeah, that's my favorite rapper. So I'll probably say "We Paid" by Lil Baby. Second song. I'm rocking with that Future too.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say "Hard to Choose One" by Future. I don't know if y'all know Pop Smoke, but I'm in the Pop Smoke. He from New York or whatever.
All right.
Rocking with Pop Smoke, so I'm gonna put that D on next. And I'm rocking with NBA YoungBoy too, so I'm gonna put that. Probably gonna put Carter's Son fourth, and the last song, 5th song. What should I say? I mean, I should put my all-time favorite, Drake, man. I gotta throw him in there. Probably add
Hey, DA, I'm definitely riding with you around CP if you doing it like that. But I want to thank you for taking time out, and I'm going to make one statement. And if you would, just finish it out for me. When football is done with, for Damari Alston of College Park, Georgia, Woodward Academy, he's played his Power 5 football, went on and played at the highest level, which is the NFL. Airs out the ball, helmet, pads, shoes are all put up in the locker room. Life after football, what will it be like for Damari Alston of College Park, Georgia, Woodward Academy?
See, here's where it starts. What school I go to, what school that's best for me, and what I'm looking for is them academics, man. Academics always come first in my book, so I can have a good life after football. Or what if I get hurt? God forbid, but what if I get hurt?
Right.
And I'm trying to make some extra money. So I want to be a businessman. I want to be an entrepreneur, own my own business. My dad's in the business, so he talked to me about that almost every day. I'm working with him every day. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Life after football, I want to own my own business, have endorsements, all that.
Awesome, my man. Well, Damari, hey, I appreciate you taking time out, my man. And hey, this can't be the last time. Our show is your show. Our line is your line. And when we get into the football season, hey, I'm gonna be making some Damari Alston updates. You down with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, DA, you have a great junior year and a great day. And like I said, thanks for taking time out here on OTH.
No problem.
All right. That was 2022 top running back out of the state of Georgia, Damari Alston out of College Park, Georgia, Woodward Academy. I told you, D. I told you he had blaze of speed. I told you.
Yeah,
Game changer.
He's an exciting player to watch. Definitely can come in and make it an
Is he as good as your favorite? Does he reach that level, Mr. McCray?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I mean,
you see the fact that we're sitting here, me and Demetrius, and we're talking about the level of how recruiting has changed over the last 3 or 4 years, from Bielema to Morris, and now to Pittman. I mean, they get it. And you have to understand the level and the landscape of how to recruit the SEC. And you can tell, Demetrius, Coach Pittman and staff, they get it. I mean, he said recruiting on steroids.
You know, I think it's a good thing to have when you have guys like Josh McCray and Damari coming in. These are high caliber prospects, and we're starting to, be in contentions with number one players. I think it's been a while since we've got, the number one ranked recruit out of a state, or I don't know if we've ever done that here at Arkansas outside of the number one player maybe from Arkansas coming to Arkansas. So I think it's interesting to see the dynamics changing definitely in recruiting.
Absolutely, and we're going to wrap up today's show. It's just been a great one, but we got more to do. We got to get more gas in the car. We got to get a tune-up, Demetrius, because we've been running around. We hadn't had a tune-up lately, so we'll get the bus ready, and then we're going to make our way to more Hog Guys, because we tell you, they don't stop, and here at OTH, neither do we. We're going to give a shout-out to our guest today, 2022 athlete, Taryn Williams, the second out of Grayson High School, Grayson, Georgia. He told us a lot about where Arkansas sits. And then Landon Watson, he's out of Austin, Texas. Hutto High School, the 2021 defensive end. Really has a high interest in Arkansas, but the guy has a lot of options. Texas is a main priority, that state. And so I really got to keep an eye on Landon. And then lastly, the top running back in the state of Georgia in that 2022 class, Damari Alston out of College Park, Georgia, Woodward Academy. You can see he's got a real strong relationship with Jimmy Smith, so you got to keep an eye on that young man. That 22 class, I'm telling you, has a chance to be special. For our producer, I also want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We'd be remiss if we didn't give them a shout out. Lindsay and Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. That's Locomotion. They're located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and lastly, KDK's Chicken. They're down at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get some of that love. And like I say on the building, it's not your mama's. We say it's the best chicken and waffles in the South. They're down at 989 South Razorback Road. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken. For my producer, Demetrius, and myself, once again, all beats are produced by Sauced Up Entertainment, LLC. Go to the YouTube page. That's Sauced Up Entertainment, LLC. And just check them out. Demigod, Conley for 3. It's always something in the kitchen on the stove they're cooking. Go check them out. For all you listeners, we'll be back tomorrow. It's been the Tuesday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and you know the final words. Let's get it.